This is It's Not in the Syllabus podcast, the how-tos of a student beyond classroom walls. This is the podcast where you, yes you, get to learn what they don't teach you at school and ace that test called life, or at least get a passing grade and get by. It's Not in the Syllabus is a podcast brought to you by the Adventist International Institute of Advanced Studies, together with the Student Association, where we feature stories by the students and for the students. Join us as we discover life lessons you'll surely need.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 37th episode of It's Not in the Syllabus. Something that we discuss here are things that you don't learn inside the classroom. And for this month of July, we are talking about Adventist education. And today, I have the privilege to talk to someone whom I respect a lot and someone who will share with us the Adventist education, its trends and vision for the next generation. So without further ado, let me just greet him and he will introduce himself. Dr. Safary, it's good to see you. Welcome to our episode.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to be here and as part of your program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, if you are actually introducing Dr. Safary, we will spend the whole time we have here. But briefly, Dr. Safary, I don't want to make any mistake. I will allow you to self-introduce yourself.
No, I'm Safary Wa-Mbaleka, and I used to be a faculty here, so I consider AIIAS partially as home. In fact, that's the reason why I'm here today. We're here on vacation with my family, and of course we had to, part of the family the vacation, we had to make sure that we were here at AIIAS because this is our home. This was our home for 8 long years, and so we enjoyed our life here. My early career as a faculty really was mainly here. So if you know me as a writer, a lot of writing happened on this campus, and I continue writing, which is my passion. But now I've accepted a new job at the General Conference as a research manager, research and evaluation manager. And my job is really looking at the research of the church from the global perspective. So I kind of have an idea of what is happening in different parts of the world as far as the research is concerned.
Wow. Quite interesting. So without further ado, we are going to talk about the future of Adventist education, trends and vision for the next generation. Dr. Safary, I'm always tempted to ask you a question, which is not part of our discussion, but we are going to go there. How do you manage your time?
That's a good one. I think you just have to be self-disciplined. Part of it, I think, it comes with type A personality.
Okay.
People who have type A personality, they run on deadlines.
Okay.
Timelines and deadlines. Mm-hmm. And everything has to go on that.
Correct.
So if it's 5 minutes, it'll be 5 minutes. If it's 30 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yes.
And so I run like that. I think it's part of the personality
Yes.
because I'm really involved in many things at the same time. Most of the times I have so many things going on. Mm-hmm. And so unless you disconnect me and take me to an island, there will always be a number of things that are going on at the same time.
Okay.
So just time management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason why I ask this question is because if you email Dr. Safary today, wherever you are, and knowing that he's so busy, you expect to receive an answer in the next day, or if he's awake, you will receive your answer in the same day. And this is actually, I think this is what demonstrate how, particularly the education department, when you were here, I talked to Dr. Bremer, I talked to Dr. Selly. Those are very busy individuals. But if you email them now, they're definitely going to respond. That's why I ask, how do you manage your time? But let's dive into our conversation. Dr. Safary, talking about the future of Adventist education, can you give us an overview of what is Adventist education?
Adventist education, although I'm no longer part of that since a few months now, but my heart is in Adventist education. To me, Adventist education is about, as we define it in the philosophy of Adventist education, I think that's the foundation of Adventist education is to reconnect the lost image of God that was lost in the human beings, helping students reconnect to that image. That is the biggest part of Adventist education. And the moment we lose that, it's no longer Adventist education. There's a man, I think his last name is Anderson, who published a book called How to Kill Adventist Education.
Wow.
I mean, when I saw the title, I said, I've got to read this. How to kill that. Not that he's promoting killing the Adventist education. Basically, the point he makes there is that the moment we lose that distinctiveness of Adventist education, which is reconnecting our students to God, then it ceases to be Adventist education.
Wow, I like that part. The moment we cease to connect the students and with God. And I also read that Adventist education is holistic, which is begin with the mind. It's also social and mental and so forth. You have been an educator for, you just shared a while ago, 23 years. And within those years, you have been an administrator. You have been serving different continents. What is the differences between Adventist education and if I could say, a non-Adventist education?
I've been privileged to work in the Adventist system and public universities, and also a Christian university that's not Adventist. So I've looked at the three systems, and I can say that when we offer real Adventist education, it's really different.
Correct.
Because you'll find prayer happening every single day. You'll find probably Bible reading or Bible reflection every day. Not only for the students, but you'll find the faculty when they meet, they have that. The staff when they meet, they have that. The administrators they meet, they have that. It's part of who we are. In a Christian university that I worked at, that was not Adventist university. Yes, we still believed God, we still believe Jesus as the Savior and things like that. But a number of times, we'll start meetings without prayer.
Correct.
And the first time, it was like, oh no, oh, what is this? How could we do this without even a simple prayer?
Correct.
Devotional was really not even mentioned. I mean, that was extremely rare to see devotional. A few times there was a prayer, but not much of that. So, and for integration of faith and learning, which is a big deal in Adventist education, if it is done well. By the way, there are some Adventist universities where there's no integration of faith and learning from research that I did before I discovered that.
Wow.
But when you have a true Adventist education, there will be integration of faith and learning in the teaching.
Correct.
Which I didn't find in another Christian university that was not an Adventist. And I remember in the guidelines, they said, okay, we need to have integration of faith and learning. And I said, okay, what are the expectations? Because I wanted to, to see if I can learn something. But even the program directors were struggling to tell me how to integrate faith and learning. So at that point, I said, wow, we're really, really different. Then public university, which I had been to, I'd been in a few public universities before. I was told, don't even mention the name of God. I remember praying privately with the student, because the student came, some students will come to me and say, we can tell that you're a believer, even if you don't talk about the Bible. Can you please pray for us?
Wow.
And just on the side, we have to look over our shoulders. Is there anybody watching? Because we don't want to get in trouble. So that is the three distinctions that I have seen between Adventist education, non-Adventist but Christian education, and then the secular education. In public universities, in many places, you're not supposed to even acknowledge God because there, it's evolution that is prevalent. But in Adventist education, actually, that's the reason why my children go to Adventist education, because I firmly believe in it.
Amen.
It prepares my children for this world and for the world to come.
You mentioned when you were in a secular in a secular university, a non-Christian, when they started a meeting without a prayer. Were you ever been tempted to say, hey guys,
yes, in the Christian one. In the Christian one, sometimes I'll say, can we pray? And sometimes I'll be the leader of the meeting. For sure, we'll start with a prayer, because I just could not start without prayer. But public university, no, because it's against the law. And I'm talking about the United States here. That's where I have taught in public universities. It's a no. You're not allowed to pray in the public with the students.
Wow.
You can pray by your own anywhere, no problem with that. But if you say, guys, in a classroom, we're going to start with the prayer, it's prohibited. It's against the law.
Wow. So it's tough.
We want to keep the church and the state
Separate.
Which is actually a good thing when it comes to religious freedom.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I know that when we look at it as an Adventist, it's bad, but from the religious freedom to make sure that, like Sunday law, for example, is not imposed, it's important to separate the state and the church.
You are now seeing trends in Adventist education, just mentioned a while ago. But how do you see the future of Adventist education when it comes to trends, the visions, and so forth? Now, because we're asking this question, I think you're in a position now you can really answer.
I don't know. I think you're going to get me in trouble for this one.
No.
I think there are a few trends that I have personally observed.
Correct.
The first trend that I see in Adventist education is online education. I'm sure you were not expecting that.
I was.
Online education is finally being embraced by Adventist Church. Before, I remember when I was here, I would say maybe 7 or more years ago, I was pushing for a master's degree in TESOL and to have it online.
Correct.
We had some serious challenges to try to get through the process because people did not believe in online education.
Wow.
And looking today, I was talking to the chair of the education department just a few months ago, and I was informed that there is a PhD in education that has been approved for online delivery. I could not believe it.
Wow.
I said, it's just a few years ago that was even a master's degree we could not offer it online, fully online, and now we are going to offer a PhD online. And so, to me, that's a big one major trend, and I think it was influenced by the COVID-19.
Correct.
People just came to realize that, okay, we cannot resist this thing anymore because who knows what will happen tomorrow.
Correct.
And so that is the first trend. Another trend, when it comes to our belief system, I think the fear I have right now is that I see a little bit more and more compromise of secularism coming to our education system. And I have seen this in most places. I want to mention any specific place.
Correct.
In most places where I have been in Adventist system, not necessarily worked at, but where I have been like interacting with colleagues at the faculty, I can say that we see a little bit more and more secularism creeping into our system. And unfortunately, this comes even with the faculty who should be leading our young people in the right path, but it's like we want to please the world to bring them in. While we are called to be to be a special people, while we are called to mingle with the people just like Jesus did, but we are not called to bring secularism in the church.
What a danger.
And so that is a dangerous trend that I see. When you try to uphold the standard, the biblical standards or the Adventist principles, it's like, hey, you are too traditional or you are too fanatic or you are legalistic, but it's not. I mean, I don't know about your viewers, but I remember when I was in high school, you could walk anywhere, you would know who's Adventist and who's not Adventist.
Correct. There was that distinction I view.
I remember a few years ago. I'm not saying this to brag or anything. I think I can I can be myself here.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
what you told me. I hope it's true. It's true. I was speaking in Portugal for a conference.
Correct.
Research conference.
Yes.
And on the second day, here comes a couple. They come to me with a big smile and they want to greet me. I had given a plenary session, so it's some of the people in the audience and everything. And I could see that they had something they wanted to tell me. And they said, eventually they gathered their courage and say, we want to ask you something very personal. I said, well, what is that? I said, sorry, please excuse me, it's just personal.
Yeah.
Are you by any chance an Adventist?
Wow.
And this was a public, it's a secular conference. It was not a church organized or anything.
Yes.
I said, how did you know? They said, we were arguing yesterday, my husband and I, and me, because like you have this aura of Adventists with you. I mean, that gave me so much peace. I said, wow.
Wow.
I didn't mention God at all. I didn't, no.
Yeah.
They just feel like this man is acting like an Adventist.
Wow.
But I'm seeing as, and it's not like, it has to come naturally.
Mm-hmm.
If we are training our students properly, wherever they go, people should know that, okay, they are different. But that line of demarcation, I think, is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner, and that is the fear that I have on the trends that we have.
And just to mention that students learn by example, not just in the classroom, but the professor lifestyle, because Adventist education, most of our schools is based on dormitories, and you have interaction with students and professors in a regular base. So professors are also should maintain a good standard, so student can also see and they follow through example. Like I really, when by the time I finish from here, when I say finish, like when I graduate, there are few professors that I look at them, I say, I want to be like him.
Wow.
You see, I will not mention here, but I look at them, I say, I want to be like him.
Praise God.
Not just because of their knowledge in the area that I like when they speak, but they character themselves. They carry themselves in a very normal and simple way. So when I go out there, wherever I'll be placed for teaching or anything, I always think, I say, I want to be like, I really like this guy. So you mentioned something very, very important. So those professors bringing secularism to please the world, and looking at Adventists, they say we need to reshape our views. You know, it's by reshaping that we are compromising so many things. So we should be very careful. Because Dr. Safary, speaking of the new generation, we cannot avoid, as you mentioned, online. And when we talk about online, then we talk about artificial intelligence. And most of the new generation, they are not so much inclined to higher education. How then do we pursue Adventist young people to be attracted to Adventist education, considering the vast AI tools that is available?
I don't think that artificial intelligence and Adventist education are mutually exclusive. In fact, if we want to continue to be relevant to the world, because we're training young people to go and serve in the world. If we want to continue being relevant to the world, we need to embrace this artificial intelligence, because it's here to stay. I remember the days, and I sound like ancient now, when Google started, you know. People were really, really afraid that, oh no, those students can just go on Google and type things and they'll just come and, no. I mean, it's the same fear that people have today. But artificial intelligence has so many positive things. It's just that we do not know how to use it. And people will have the tendency to just say it's wrong. It's not wrong. I've actually personally used it to, especially for outlining certain things that I want to work on. And sometimes I get good ideas. But before I do that, I usually do my own thing. And then I go to like ChatGPT, say, okay, give me an outline of this, and try to see if there's something that I miss. And sometimes I find something there. So, well, yeah, I should have thought about this. And so if we want to continue being relevant, we need to embrace artificial intelligence. Number two, one of the trends that we see in Adventist education, and this is not Adventist education alone, it's all education, higher education. Many people are no longer interested in higher education. They want practical things. Again, this was precipitated by COVID-19. They just want to have a certificate and start making money.
That's it.
So I think just like we need online education today so that we can reach students that cannot come on campus, we need also to start offering certificate programs. Maybe how to use artificial intelligence for specific areas and offer those specific certificates. And let's integrate artificial intelligence in our classes, where you have an assignment and you say, okay, I want you to use ChatGPT, and these are the things that you're going to do. I remember in the early 2000, that's when I started teaching online, there was something we used to call WebQuest. Check it out on Google when you have time, because nobody mentions that anymore. WebQuest basically were activities where the faculty will create activities where you'll go on Google, because Google was our ChatGPT. how, so you're going to do this and this and this and this and this and get to the result. Show me every step what you got to.
Correct.
So instead of telling people Google is evil, they were creating activities for us to use Google properly. And that's how we learn. I mean, today you look back and say, Google? Come on, that's really simple. But it was a big deal.
Yes.
So I think we need things equivalent of that to guide students to use artificial intelligence, to do their assignments. And let's face it, we're in the information age. Why in the world would we base our assessment primarily on quizzes?
Thank you, Dr.
The
Safary.
information is out there. We need to train people to find that information.
Yes.
That's why I love teaching a graduate education, because you write papers, you're going to try to find the information and show me that you have synthesized it well. Because you cannot memorize information anymore. It's just whatever you memorize today, within 2 months, is obsolete anyways.
Yes, yes.
So let's teach people how to use artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not evil.
Yeah.
It is coming to actually help us think much better, much quicker than what we would be doing as human beings.
Two things I picked from your discussion a while ago is the idea of implementing practical certificates.
Yes.
There is an ongoing debate, which has been there for long, but it's now getting momentum with this new age, where they say, why you have to go to school?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no need for one to go to school.
Yeah.
One can do self-learning, and if in fact they say school, they just delay you because whatever you
That's millennials, right? I mean, they're Gen Zs, yeah? Right?
Yes.
That's Gen Zs.
Gen Z. So whatever you learn in school, you only use it 5%.
Yeah.
The 95% you
Yeah.
don't use it.
Yeah.
So what is the reason of going to school? So, but if you teach, if we offer practical certificates and practical programs,
Yeah.
I look at it I don't think, should I even say it? I look at it in a broad sense of PhD. Why do you have to keep people for 4 years in a PhD
Yeah.
when they could do it less years?
Yeah.
And why do you need to give them courses if PhD is more on research, they could just get into research, or before they even come, they should give your topic, their topics, and then there's an advisor assigned for them, work throughout 2 years, and the person is done.
Yes.
Nothing against the
Yeah,
PhD.
yeah.
But then it's become, there are schools that are picking it.
Yeah.
I hear there's one in Malaysia that are really doing good.
Yeah.
And I think we should also think of that that line.
Yeah.
We are getting towards the end of our
Can
conversation.
I just say
Go ahead.
something about
Go ahead.
that? Actually, when I was leaving the Philippines 2019, the Philippines was starting that. Now they have a track, a research track, and non-research track. Okay. And now, if they have implemented it properly, you can just come and start directly with research. I'm in a program like that right now.
Why?
I'm supposed to defend my dissertation soon.
Wow.
And I took only 3 modules. They were not even classes, 3 modules. The rest were just being research. And I very much agree that it should be going in that direction. On the other hand, though, I don't believe we should let go of completely graduate programs, doctorates, because I've worked with the people at different levels. You'll find that each degree, like bachelor's prepares you at a certain level, master's at another level, a PhD at a different level. People who be, for example, in leadership, I think they need to get that PhD because it pushes your brain with the problem-solving skills that you will not get at the bachelor's level. But if somebody wants to be just an entrepreneur and they will have somebody to manage their things, we don't need a PhD.
Correct.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, run your own farming thing, go get a certificate for farming. You don't need a PhD for that.
Yeah.
And so I think we have different needs. Not everybody should do a PhD, as much as I want everybody to, but I don't think it's necessary.
You know, I did not want to cut you when you say you are going to defend something. In my mind, I said, wait a minute, which one is this?
No, we don't go there. Let's stick to our Adventist education.
But then again, Dr. Safary, it's difficult to speak about Adventist education without giving suggestion. And suggestion because you have been an administrator, teacher, and I often say this again. So what will be some of the suggestions that you could give to church leaders who are out there for them to look at Adventist education in a sense to also attract the new generation. So,
yeah, I have a few ideas that I can think of in this question. It's a very important question, by the way. Number one, let's not lose our distinctiveness.
Dr. Safari, I want you to look at that camera as you're giving the
Yeah,
recommendations.
please, let's not lose our distinctiveness. I think that's point number one. Why would I, as a parent, I have 2 college students right now, one just graduated. Why would I spend 4 times more to pay for my child to go to Adventist education if what they're getting there is just ABC, just like what they get from public university? There's no point. The only reason why I send them there is because I want them to continue being prepared for heaven. So number one, if we really want to continue to be relevant, is to be to keep our distinctiveness as Adventists. Many times people think that it's by embracing the world now will attract the parents, but no. We want that distinctiveness. That's the reason why we pay, because we can get the same education somewhere else without paying as much as we pay for Adventist education. I know people say, don't talk about being expensive. Yes, it is. Anybody who's a parent knows that. We cannot pat ourselves on that and say that it's not there. So distinctiveness is a major, major, major one. Number two, let's stop offering the same programs that every Adventist school is offering. Other than theology. Theology should always be there. Any Adventist school must have theology. The seminary must be there. But if in 50 years ago we were offering education, business, and what are the things? It was education, business, and health. Okay, health is a part of who we are. But I think now we have so many PhDs in education. We have so many so many people with the MBA in business. Maybe within the MBA, maybe we need to look at something more specific. I like it. AIIAS, I think they are going to offer masters maybe in online education. Let's update those programs that we've been offering for a long time. And offer something that's much more relevant. Like for education, let's offer online education or instructional design. For business, let's go to e-marketing, for example. E-business, instead of just regular business that we do. Accounting, let's go to forensic accounting, for example. For health, let's go to mental health, for example, which is a big deal that we have today. Non-communicable diseases, global health. Let's go to things that are relevant today. When our students graduate, they are relevant right there. And number three, let's try to find ways to make our education more affordable. Because when we rely only on tuition, it's a problem. Let's create industries. Let's create, with the money that we get from our students, let's invest that. Maybe we have bakery. Maybe we have, I know here at AIIAS we have now a garden here.
Yes.
I'm sure it's
there's also a bakery.
Income. You have also a bakery now.
Yes.
I mean, we never had that before, so progress is happening. And for others, let's do these things, because then we'll make education affordable. It will be authentic. That means all parents will continue to send our students to our Adventist education.
Wow, wonderful. Those 3-4 things are very impactful, because we have to be authentic.
Yeah.
We are called to be authentic. We are called to be the remnant.
Yes.
And we have to be distinct,
Yeah.
not offering whatever other people are also offering. And the tuition, whew, speaking of the tuition. So, Dr. Safari, thank you for those good suggestions in the conversation. We are towards the end. One last word when it comes to the future of Adventist education.
Let's keep educating, and for the faculty, let's keep giving it our very best. We should not have a regret after 5 years. I should have taught much better, because we are preparing our students for eternity. That's a big responsibility. The parents send our children, or we send our children to you, because we believe you can continue the little work that we started in the home. And students, don't ever allow somebody to lie to you that Adventist education is terrible. No. You'll find that many of our graduates, they're out there excelling. Everywhere they go, people discover that they have something that other people don't have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Safary. Thank you for accepting to be with us. And I know you are busy, but you have taken time to be with us. Friends, we've come to an end of our podcast. Today we've talked about the future of Adventist education, trends and vision for the next generation. Do us a favor, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for you to have all notifications for our future podcast. Until then, God bless you. See you next time. Bye.